that I am in love with. Actually, don't let my other projects hear me say that. I'm in love with all of my finished objects. Hi friends, welcome back. I'm MC, a knit and crochet designer and a yarn dyer from Connecticut, and you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Blame the Knots, on my website blametheknots.com, and of course right here on YouTube where you can get to know me a little bit better. We are here for episode 58 of this podcast. Today, I don't know what day it is Tuesday, October 14th. Holy cow. And if you're new here, what we do is we talk about knitting and crocheting and spinning and maybe now weaving and other crafts that I might decide to get into. We never know where my creative chaos is going to take me. And I also work in publishing as well. So at the end of the podcast, we talk about all the books that I have been reading lately, if you are a reader as well and are looking for some recommendations. So I think we are going to have a bit of a quicker episode this time. Last time was so long. Thank you to everyone who stuck around with me till the end of that one. It was a little wild and crazy. Today, we're going to be a bit more concise, and let's start out really quickly by talking about what I'm wearing. This is the G Street Sweater Light, and I am just wearing it today with some super old yoga pants because I was am dying. There's still things happening in the dye pans today, but I threw this on to show you this sweater because this sweater released last week, last Friday. So if you are interested, this is now available. The regular or DK weight G Street sweater released earlier this year and it was such a big hit. Everyone loved it, and so they wanted a fingering weight version, and we delivered. There is also a knit version of this pattern from Brie of the Little Wolf Knits. This is the crochet version. The G Street Sweater Light is a fingering weight sweater. And this is in the colorway Newly Sharpened Pencils on my For Sure fingering base. The lighting is really bad today. It is quite gloomy at the moment, and I have a light on to help a little bit, but it is a very, very warm light, and it is all I have at the moment, so sorry. Let's jump into our finished objects. There's not much this time, but there is one that I am in love with. Actually, don't let my other projects hear me say that. I'm in love with all of my finished objects. The first one, though, that I have to share with you is my side-long shawl. This is made with some hand spun, and before I tell you any more about this, this one is quite bigger than my original sample. I wanted a real big one, but in order to do that, I had to make a little color tip. So that's okay. It's fine with me. I thought about it a lot. Basically, the last time that you saw this, I was just shy of this halfway point. And after recording, I did so much math of like how much I could squeeze out of this, what I needed to do, how much yardage I had left, blah, 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 all the weights of things. Because I was using hand spun, I couldn't quite trust exactly the weight versus the yardage that I had, because you never know, there's a little bit more variability within hand spun. And I was realizing that if I wanted to make it as big as I wanted to make it, I was not gonna have enough yarn. So I think I was like a few inches away from the midpoint, and so I would have had to start decreasing immediately after I saw you last, and if I had done that, it would have made it like this much shorter. So it just wasn't going to be as big as I wanted. So basically what I did is I used, for the majority of this, some hand spun Shetland that that came from a fleece I got at Rhinebeck last year, and I hand processed the entire thing. And then this little tip at the end is a bare yarn that I spun as well. This was some roving that came from Ohana Fiber Mill. I believe that's the proper name. And this is Merino, Corriedale, and Rambouillet? Merino, Romney, and Corriedale. That's what it was. A mix of Merino, Romney, and Corriedale, bare yarn from the big island of Hawaii. And I love it. So interestingly, my gauge with this yarn, which is more of a DK weight, my original side-long shawl sample was made with Aran weight yarn. And this was more of a DK weight, but it was quite plump. And so I was getting, weirdly, almost a very similar row gauge. My row gauge was not that different, but my stitch gauge was way different, which is why I ended up with a much deeper shawl. Plus, I did some extra repeats to make it even longer. But I love it. I love how this color tip works. It worked out perfectly so that it happens like right as it comes around my shoulder. I love it so much. Also, thank you so much to everyone who has snagged a copy of the side-long shawl, and don't forget that the side-long along is still running. I'm hoping if you are coming to Rhinebeck, we can take a picture together with our side-long shawls or works in progress or whatever you have. Or, you know, you don't have to do it. We can just take a picture. That's fine too. And I don't really have any, there's no rules. No rules for the side-long along. Just make one and be happy with me and love your side-long shawl. I don't have an end date in sight, to be continued. We will figure it out, but I love my shawl. I have already worn it several times, but it's a little bit too warm to have it on top of the sweater at the moment. I don't have any more knitting and crochet finished objects today, but I do have some new crafts. New crafts, we knew it was gonna happen. So basically a couple of weekends ago, I took a weaving class at Madison Wool, and I have left the information of the instructor in the other room. I will put it across the screen for you so that you can go give them a follow, and I'll put it in the description as well. The class was fantastic. It was pretty much an all-day intensive of learning how to weave on a rigid heddle loom. And I actually have my own rigid heddle loom. I have had it for quite a while. It was gifted to me, which was such a kind and amazing gift. And it is a 15-inch shacked cricket loom. And I have never known how to use it. It has been sitting here in the yarn room for so long, waiting and waiting and waiting for me to learn how to use it. And I was so glad I finally signed up for this class. It was fantastic. And I, because I own my own loom, I was able to start a larger project on it in the class instead of the people that were borrowing looms for the class had made a tiny sampler, and I got to take mine home and continue working on it. So I started a sampler in the class, came home, kept working on it, kept working on it, kept working on it, eventually said, you know what? I think I'm ready to try something else, but I still had plenty of warp left on my loom. So I just like put some spacers in so that I had room to tie off in between projects, and I started a second one until I ran out of warp. So keep in mind that on both of these projects, I have tied things off, but I have not soaked them, blocked them, to let everything settle and kind of shrink up, fall into place, do what it needs to do when you soak the weavings. And I have not trimmed the fringe so that it's even, so it's a little bit funky. And I also have ends that I need to weave in from every time I have changed color. They're basically done, and I wanted to show them to you, and I will weave in my ends. I've got fuzz everywhere. I will weave in my ends later and give them a soak. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous about soaking them. But here we go. Are you ready for my first sampler? Okay, let me hold it over here. There's more room. This is so much fun. I started down here. This is where we started with the class, and you can definitely tell when you probably won't be able to tell on camera, but looking at it, you can tell that I got tighter and tighter and tighter as I went along. But we started down here. I used just a skein of some bare yarn that I had floating around. It was like something that I like lost the tag to, and I wasn't sure exactly, you know, was it 80-20, was it 75-25? It is a merino, superwash merino nylon blend that is like a DK or worsted weight, but I wasn't sure exactly what it was, and so I thought, you know what, this is gonna be perfect. I'm just gonna use it up as my warp. And then the weft that I used some of that white or undyed yarn for my weft, but I also used the remainder or some of my leftovers from my hanky tanky, which is hand spun merino that I spun myself. So this was so much fun. We did some plain weave. We did, I forget what this is called, but it's basically like intarsia for weaving. Oh gosh, it's like right on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember what it's called. It's fine. We did some lace. We did some really fun, I chose to use some sari silk to do some sumac weaving and some little loopy things. We did different textured things that, again, I forget what it's called. I could look it up. I have a book right next to me, but you know what? It's fine. We did more lace. I just played around with some other stuff. I grabbed a little tiny bit of roving that I had floating around to kind of tie in some blue back up at the top. And then I ended with a little bit of lace and tied it off. I love it. Love it so much, and it will look even better once I get all of these ends taken care of and I trim the fringe so that they match and all that jazz. And then I was trying to do some tidying up in my office, and I was realizing I have a bunch of hand spun that I was planning on selling or getting rid of or whatever, and I was looking at them with new eyes and thinking, wow, I might enjoy weaving something with that, you know? So I took some hand spun. This was, I believe, a merino, and there was silk in it as well. I can't remember where I got it from. I don't remember much about this yarn, but I do remember that it was supposed to be, I don't remember the name of it. Well, it's hand spun. I don't remember the name of the fiber, but it was supposed to be inspired by Monet's water lilies. And honestly, when I spun it up, I was like, I mean, it's pretty colors, but like, I felt like it got kind of muddied. But now that it is woven, I actually, oh, the lighting is so bad, but I really do feel like it gives that water lily vibe. This is very blown out. It looks so much better in person, but I just made a little tiny weaving until I ran out of my warp. And again, you know, gotta weave in the ends, gotta do all this stuff. But I just basically decided, I just did plain weave, back and forth and back and forth. I was just kind of trying to work on my tension and enjoying the meditative nature of it. And I am happy to report that this piece ended up decently wider than this piece, which means my tension is improving and I'm having less of the, what's it called? Drawing in? I forget. I need to brush up on my weaving terms, but I love this. I can't wait to get this like finished up. And I used about a quarter. Yeah, I used about a quarter of the yarn that I have for this. So I really want to make something, I want to use the rest of it and make something larger. I don't know if I want to do something like same width and 3 times as long, twice as wide, twice as long. I don't know what I want it to be. It's not going to be that huge, but I just feel like I really like it. So who knows? And that, oh no. That is not all I have finished this week. It's another new craft. It's another new craft. It's another new craft. When I spoke to you last, I believe I was recording on October 1st. What is my hair doing? I was recording on October 1st and I had gotten it into my head. A couple days before that, I decided I really wanted to pull out my sketchbook, and I had decided I wanted to participate in Inktober, which is where you draw something every day for the month of October. And I wanted to do it with like a no rules kind of setup. There are lots of people that work with prompts for Inktober and stuff like that, and I just didn't want to. I just wanted to pull out my sketchbook and use it every day. And sometimes it would be a doodle of a dog, and sometimes it would be a squiggly wiggle, and sometimes I would just take some markers and color in the page. And I didn't care. I just wanted to touch it every day. I'm happy to report that so far I have been very successful in that. I'm having an absolute blast, but it also inspired me to set up a little date with my friend, and there is a spot near us where you can do splatter painting, and they have a room that you get to go into and basically throw paint at a canvas, and it was so much fun. I will show you what I created and then talk about the experience, I guess. So here is my painting. And I love it. I love it. Basically, as you can see, we were able to tape stuff off and then paint the canvas and then splatter over it. We both went into it thinking that you basically just got a white canvas and they put it in the room and then you threw stuff at it. So then we were not expecting all of this. So we really want to do it again with more of a plan, because they sat us down and they were like, here's some tape, here's some paint, do whatever you want, make something cool. And I really wish I had gone in with a bit more of an idea. I like this. I still am enjoying this, but it would have been fun to know what I wanted to do from the beginning. So I think next time I'm gonna go in with some plans, and I might do the neon fluorescent paint upgrade as well, because I feel like that would be really fun. I don't know where this is gonna go. I really wanted to make something that would go in my office, but then I was really drawn to the yellows and greens. And I don't know if this is gonna go in here. I don't know, we'll see. But this was really fun. And so this is a new finished object of sorts. And I guess I have at least 14 other finished objects from my drawing in my sketchbook. I have been really enjoying it. I am not going to take you through all of it now, but if you follow me on Instagram, I have been showing some of the pieces that I'm really enjoying or proud of or just think are really fun. So if you want to check that out, make sure you follow me on Instagram, and I've just been posting some of those in my stories just to share what's inspiring me lately. I have 2 works in progress that I've mostly been focusing on, and I have a couple others that I honestly haven't touched since I saw you last. So we'll just talk about the ones that I'm actively working on. The first thing is that I really needed something that was just going to be small and portable and easy for me to work on without having to think about anything. So I cast on a pair of vanilla socks. This is in the colorway Day Hiking from Woolens and Nash. Also, please, if my nails look gross, I've been spilling dye all over myself all day long. So this is Day Hiking from Woolens and Nash. Like I said, I split it up into two 50-gram balls, roughly 50, and have started some socks. This is, I believe, their Targhee base. I'm pretty sure this is their Targhee base. You know what? I have had this for so long, and I did not even look at the label when I ripped it off and wound this up. I am just doing a vanilla sock with an afterthought heel. I like to start at the cuff. I do 64 stitches for my foot. I did 20 rounds of ribbing. Normally I just go until I feel good for the ribbing, but this time it was 20, and then I've just been going around and around and around. I'll do stockinette until I feel like stopping, and then I'll put the toe on, and then I do an afterthought heel. And that's it. I just wanted something that I could just grab and go if I needed it. So I cast that on. Haven't touched this in like a week, but they are there when I need them. And the thing that I have been focusing the most on lately is, oh no, yarn overboard. This is another sample of my scribble sweater, and this is currently in testing and will be releasing in November. And I wanted to make another one because it is honestly, like, I think maybe one of my favorite things to wear. I can't stop wearing my first one that I made, and I really wanted to make another one. So I hemmed and hawed about this for so long, what I wanted to do with this, and I couldn't figure it out. And then I finally found some yarn that really made me happy, and it is the most perfectly fall scribble sweater. And I am using, this is Life is Gouda from Hypnotic Yarn. And then I am holding it with a very like light latte coffee with lots of milk in it color that is a one of a kind from me. I took one of my one hit wonders out of stock. No one was buying it, so I took it. And I'm holding them together. I love how it's coming out. I have not decided yet what I'm going to use as my contrast color for around the collar and cuffs and all that kind of stuff, but I have a million options, so I will come up with something. But I am loving how this is turning out. I am honestly like almost halfway through the body. Yeah, I joined in the round. I'm almost halfway through through the body before I start the ribbing. It has a nice chunky 3-inch ribbing at the bottom. So yeah, just working away on that here and there. Honestly, I haven't done a ton of knitting or crochet in the past couple of weeks. I have been doing it consistently, but just not tons, you know. It's just been kind of like a little bit here, a little bit there when I can get to it. The time has flown, and I don't understand how it has been 2 weeks since I last sat down with you. Other than that, the works in progress that I have are my second half sweatshirt, which I did like 5 rounds on it since the last time I saw you. I'm not going to pull it out to show you. It's just, it looks exactly the same. And then I have 2 spins, one on my one on my Dreaming Robots Nano and one on my drop spindle, and neither one of them have been touched. So that's that. That's all that's happened. And wait a second. I have one more thing. I totally forgot. We can call this a work in progress because I'm only halfway done. This is Steve Jimmy Jack, and I posted a video last week all about me scouring Steve Jimmy Jack, and I scoured, oh no, that is my stop working alarm that just went off, because otherwise I will continue working forever. Obviously I'm gonna keep working until I finish this video, but it reminds me to start winding down. Anyway, I posted a video where I scoured the first half of Steve Jimmy Jack, and I got myself real tired. I scoured a little bit more than half last time. I have actually been scouring the rest of him today. So he is actually now done and drying outside. So yeah, this is another work in progress kind of. And that's all we got on that. Most of the shop things I have kind of already touched on. Firstly, you can get your copy of the G Street Sweater Light available on Ravelry right now. You can also grab a copy of the Sidelong Shawl, and make sure that you join the Sidelong along and tag me on Instagram if you do cast on a project. And then also, the only other thing that I have to mention in the shop is that Zoinks and our Mean Girls yarn 3-way calling attack will be available through the end of October. I was dyeing up some 3-way calling attack today. It is all over my hands. So if you want that, get your orders in. I will keep the listing up through the end of the month. They are both available on all of the bases. And same deal with life. I have pretty much mentioned all of the things that have been going on already. Like I said, I took a weaving class. I have started drawing a lot. I've been really, really enjoying it. I have been loving every second of it. It's been a lot of fun. I've been talking to one of my friends, Wendy, who is a phenomenal artist, and you've probably heard me talk about her and her ceramics before on the channel, but she is a phenomenal artist in so many other mediums as well, and we've just been talking about stuff and sharing drawings, and it has been so much fun and so inspiring. And I just got some watercolors and I have been playing with them, and I have just been having so much fun. So everything has just been one big creative, inspiring blur the past couple of weeks. And then I went to a splatter painting with my friend. That was so much fun. Everything has just been a complete blast. And the fun doesn't stop there, because in a couple of days we are leaving to go to Rhinebeck. So if you are going to be at Rhinebeck, please come say hi. Please give me a hug. Please take a picture with me. I will not remember to take pictures. So if you would like one, please ask. I don't mind taking them. I just never think of it. I would love to see you. I would love to hug you if you're a hugger. If not, that's fine too. I'll be there. My main goal of Rhinebeck, especially this year, I feel like every year I care less and less about the actual stuff and more about the people. I just want to see my friends. I just want to hang out with you and say hi. I will be at Cake Palooza in the afternoon on Friday. I will be at Indie Untangled in the last session on Friday as well. And then I will be at Rhinebeck at New York Sheep and Wool on Saturday and Sunday. Wandering around, I'm sure for a large chunk of Saturday afternoon, I will be in and around the hill. If you would like to find me Saturday morning, my only goal is to hit up the fleece sale. So yeah, please, if you spot me, holler. I'm also really bad at finding people in crowds. I get a little bit overwhelmed. I'll be fine, but I get a little sensory overload when I'm in a crowd, and so I can look at someone that I have known forever and I will like not be able to pick their face out of a crowd. So if you think I'm ignoring you, I'm not. I just have no idea what's going on around me. So just say hi. Don't worry. I would love to say hi to you. And if you are not going to be at Rhinebeck, you can still say hi. Send me a message. Say hi. Whatever. I want to spend time with you too. One way I can tell that the past 2 weeks have been an absolute blur is the fact that I have only completed one book. And I'm really sad about it. I'm really sad. I went from being several books ahead on my goal of reading 100 books in 2025 to now being a couple of books behind on my goal. Very sad about it. I don't feel like I'm in a reading slump, but I also, I guess, apparently am in a bit of a slump or feeling a little bit burnt out on stuff. Although I have listened to over 4 hours of an audiobook today already just while I was dying. So we're gonna catch up. I don't know. I don't know what's been going on and what I've been doing instead of reading. So the only thing that I have read in the past 2 weeks is Eat the Ones You Love by Sarah Maria Griffin. And this is a horror about a woman who starts working in a flower shop, and there is a kind of sentient plant in the back room that might not be very well intentioned. It was fine. I gave it 3 stars. The writing was good. I just don't know if it was what I was expecting, and I don't know if I can put into words what I was expecting. But this wasn't quite it. I think it like veered a little bit more into like the true horror, body horror, that kind of stuff. And I think I wanted it to be a little bit more of a lighthearted horror. And I think the problem is that a lot of people like see this book and the cover and the premise and they kind of automatically in their head think like, oh, it's like Little Shop of Horrors. And so you go into it expecting like a little bit more like fun. And it's not. It is not. It was well written though. It just wasn't quite what I was expecting. So I gave it 3 stars. Just wasn't my like total horror vibe, but I am pretty picky with what exactly is my horror vibe. So yeah, that's it. That's all I've read. I can't believe it. That's wild. I just can't believe that I've only read one book in the past 2 weeks. It feels so strange, and it feels like there are some times where I'm like, I have 15 books to talk to you about, and it's just weird to have one. But anyway, thank you so much for coming back or for joining me for the first time if you're new. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and share this video with someone who you think might like it. Leave me a comment below. All of that helps so much, and it's free. So if you are enjoying what you're seeing here, if you could just do any or all of those things, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you're going to be at Rhinebeck, I will see you there. And if not, I will see you next time. So until then, take care of you, and I will see you later. Bye.